Rosenblum?
Yeah, Meredith, if she could have a
Excuse me, Meredith. Is it Renee Rosenblum?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I represent the senior faculty.
Okay, no problem.
And I'm very encouraged what I've heard so far. Sherman, my husband, and I have been residents for more than 60 years when it was known as the Green Acres, not the Millbrook. And there was no shopping center. And when they wanted to build one, they came and they asked permission, and we said, all right. And in return, we received a reduction in taxes, reduction. Of course, over the 60 years, my husband, who is a manufacturer, and I, who am a teacher, worked, and we raised our children. We are now retired, of course, and we are senior citizens living on a fixed income. And we ask you, please, it is most difficult for us at this point, and every increase means we have to sacrifice something in the way that we have lived. We are both in our 90s, and thank you. And we would like to remain in our house, which is our home. So please, we would appreciate any efforts that you can make to rectify this mistake. Thank you.
Another person who wanted to speak on this item, and that's Meredith 540. And that's the item that you're going to be speaking on at this particular time.
Me, J. Meredith, Baldwin resident, another one of the oppressed, overtaxed, underserved communities in Nassau County. To keep it relevant, as I was told by those that we elect, which I always find interesting, I have questions with regard to this program because of the nature of the seriousness of the numerous allegations and arrests and possible convictions that impact elected officials in Nassau County and those who represent the underserved, overstressed taxpayers, those who are fortunate in fighting valiantly to stay in their homes, even though we're having an increasing number of zombie homes. But that's right, there's a land grant that supports the demolition of a home, but there are really no programs to help keep residents in their homes. Oh, I'm sorry. Because we're giving pilots to companies and organizations and individuals, but we can't provide streetscapes for residents in Uniondale who have been suffering, and they're going to get another little bonus when the Coliseum opens, and that group of stores, which is, 10 steps away from Roosevelt Field, which is already suffering from shopping. But then you give a pilot to Green Acres Mall, and you say now that you're going to fix the problem when last week you were advised that you could table the decision with regard to that issue. You were advised that you could table it, and that did come from the representative from the county executive, but the majority in this body chose not to do that. And to my point, it's shame on you. It is shame on you. And you're going to have this proposed law that's going to provide amnesty, but who is monitoring that law? Who is going to be in charge of that program? What is the tax benefit to whoever's colleague, neighbor, friend, or relative who will gain from that? What residents are listed in terms of getting this amnesty for the fines when you could have constructively dealt with the issue? Don't come to the table now in November and say that we're going to have a solution to the problem. You should have had the solution to the problem. You should have had this impact study to begin with before you pushed that overinflated property tax scenario and the budget last week that you slipped it in without residents having the benefit of comment or contribution. Now you're going to give somebody a voluntary program that you're not even spelling out who is going to be involved in this amnesty? That makes no sense, and you all know it. So I encourage those who are here, because this place should be packed on a regular basis to find out just how business is done under the table, behind the scenes, and in back rooms of Nassau County. And if the residents don't speak up, you might as well continue to meet them who are running out of town. Why are we paying money for empty houses when we have residents here who are trying to fight
Ma'am,
to
your
stay
3
in their
minutes have
house?
expired.
I get it. Why are we paying money to tear down an empty house and we are squeezing the life out of those who are trying to maintain their homes? Again, who is benefiting from this program that has its own party connections? I know this is not question and answer, but at least my information is on the record, as I've encouraged all of these residents here to pick a form there, write an issue that is on the ballot, and I say call to vote on the streetscaping and any other issue so that these residents can be heard, because they have to go back to their 2 and 3 jobs or to find another income even though they're retired.
Thank you very much.
I call for the vote.
Those are the last steps I've had for 540, and hopefully Legislator Salages, as everyone there, if you want to wrap it up, you may. But I'm expecting someone from the tax assessor's office and from the county attorney.
I would like to
Mr.
thank-
Becker, what?
I would like to thank the presiding officer again for being very fair here today and allowing these individuals to speak. Thank you. This issue, as it was stated before, is within the control of the Town of Hempstead and the Town of Hempstead IDA. I encourage you to please come to that meeting on November 15th. Between now and then, I will reach out to you just to update you on any changes here. But I thank the presiding officer for her public commitment here today that if this decision by the IDA is reversed, that this body will take the necessary steps to correct the tax roll, and I thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, Mr. Becker, do we have anybody from the assessor?